amendment on the next amendment on the roster is an amendment offered by the gentleman from Texas, Mr. Weber. You're recognized.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I have an amendment at the desk.
The clerk will read the amendment.
Amendment number 3, offered by Mr. Weber.
I ask unanimous consent to dispense with the reading without objection, so ordered. I recognize the gentleman for 5 minutes to explain his amendment.
Thank you, Chairwoman Johnson. My amendment to H.R. 3609, the Wind Energy Research and Development Act of 2019, would modify the bill to allocate more moderate funding levels, offering a realistic approach to funding wind energy R&D, which by now we all know is essential. My amendment also adds a requirement that no additional funds are authorized to carry out this legislation. Instead, it directs the Department of Energy to fund the work authorized under this legislation using amounts already appropriated to the Department for Energy R&D without increasing overall spending. As my colleague, Mr. Norman, mentioned in his statement, EERE is funded at almost $2.4 billion with the B dollars. It is a budget that dwarfs those of the other applied research programs at the department. While there are significant opportunities for new and exciting research in areas like materials science and computing that can improve wind energy technologies, it is our job here in Congress to focus federal agencies on the absolute best use of limited federal funding. And let me add that Americans believe that that's essential. But we just can't magically increase overall spending every time we establish priorities for federal research programs. We have to focus the resources that we do have on work that industry cannot support. Now, I've said before that I think a case can be made for supporting aspects of the research programs authorized in this underlying legislation, which is why my amendment includes modest growth in funds allocated for wind energy over time. But it's very clear that DOE already receives ample funding to maintain this and its other energy technology programs without another top-line spending increase. We have to stop pretending that DOE can get a 30 to 40% increase for every program. It's just not realistic, and it's making promises to stakeholders that, quite frankly, we can't afford to keep. So instead, let's prioritize the fundamental research we all support and make modest investments to help innovative technologies succeed in the commercial market. I believe this is a common sense, fiscally responsible proposal, and I encourage my colleagues to support this amendment. And Madam Chair, I yield back.